Crazy secrets that kids are hiding, Viewers Edition. Our kids hide the darndest things, don't they? And you told us what your kids were hiding, or what you hid as a kid because prompts are meaningless. Not complaining, I'll take what I can get. Story 1. I found my super secret email address that I created when I was 10 without my parents' permission. I know, how horrible. In my dad's password saver, and it scared the crap out of me. I don't know why I was so scared of my parents knowing I had an email, but I guess it was a thing that was for me and me only, to separate myself from my parents and make accounts on social media without them knowing. Additionally, when I was in 5th and 6th grade, my friend and I had lots of secrets with each other. My friend would often talk about them in the backseat of my parents' car loudly, and it always freaked me out. That same friend also texted me, "OMG, did you hear that actor was gay?" We were both queer too, but I was very closeted at the time. I wasn't exactly subtle, though. And my dad saw the text when he was waking me up. So after I had breakfast, he asked, "Who's actor?" And I panicked and said I didn't know. And finally, the last one. In 5th grade, as mentioned before, I was very queer but very deep in the closet. I had posted about it on my social media, and my younger sibling found out about it. My sibling didn't know anything about what being queer meant or what outing was, so they loudly said to my mom, "She's bisexual." Note, I no longer identify as bi, but at the time I did. And I freaked out. I got so scared. My mom brushed it off as, "You're too young to know about that stuff." A year or two later, I officially came out to her. She didn't care and was surprised, which surprised me because, once again, I was not subtle. And then somehow my dad found out despite me never actually telling him. I'm really thankful for living in a supportive household because, yikes. I'm just happy to hear that your family was supportive of you coming out. That's awesome. But yeah, as a kid, it is weird in hindsight just how obvious we all were about our secrets. And honestly, I'm typically way more surprised when my parents didn't know I was lying. Also, it is still weird hearing about kids growing up with email and social media. I guess as a teen, I had ICQ Instant Messenger. I still remember my ID number for it. Anyway, moving on. Story 2. My toys kept getting lost because the bastard kept stealing them and hiding them. Oftentimes, my dad had to get the ladder to check on top of the really tall kitchen cabinets. I call it the bastard because it killed my fish. Destroyed my clothes by scratching the crap out of them, cut dogs' faces up, constantly killed birds and other creatures with torture birds before capitating them, and thought it was funny to watch my mom and dad step on the severed head. Also, one time I wanted to play in the computer, but the bastard was petting a hummingbird while sitting on the computer desk chair, so the computer was off limits until the bastard moves. It was a 5-pound white cat that was a personification of pure evil. Story 3. Trick for certain bathroom moments. You know exactly what I'm implying. There's usually a switch next to the light switch, and when you turn it on, there's a loud humming sound. Keep it on throughout the time. Step 2. Sweat too has a smell and sticks to surfaces, bath mats, toilet seat, anything. Sit on a dirty towel that you know you'll use later. Try not to leak onto it. Step 3. Make an excuse. Say you're going to shower. I know this is the part that sucks, but play shower sounds through your computer/phone/tablet. You'll have to mute your video, but honestly, just watch something or look at images. When you are done, take some of your body wash or shampoo, put some into your sink and or toilet. Also, that loud humming sound is a ceiling fan built into it. When you are done, speed run the cleanup. Wet your hair, put the towel on, place the computer in a very creatively hidden space, and wait for about 10 minutes. Get into your clothes, make an excuse to go to the bathroom, retrieve the gear, and haul. Easy. This is the most work I've ever heard of someone putting in for this particular activity. Few questions. First off, why are you playing shower sounds? Just take a shower. Frankly, some of you need one. No offense, being a teen is weird and tough. We all smelled a little back then. Also, the shower takes care of cleanup and sweat and stuff. If you fake a shower, I promise an adult can tell. The bathroom isn't humid, the mirror isn't fogged. I need to move on. This is too much. No more questions. Story 4. I've got severe anxiety and also had awakenings super early. I'd unrestricted computer access from the time I was about 8. Jump forward a few years into the future, I get a new laptop and my dad wants the parts from my old laptop. and I start crying because I'm convinced he's going to find everything I've ever looked at on it. My dad is incredible, and instead of berating his hysterical paranoid daughter, he took my old laptop's hard drive outside and drilled a hole in it, and then showed it to me to prove he really did destroy it, and that I didn't have to cry. I love that guy so much. Story 5. I used to do that pretend to be asleep so dad will carry me thing too, LMAO. Eventually I grew out of it, but not because my dad figured out I was pretending. We just stopped coming home so late, and usually I would forget it was an auction when I got bigger. I remembered that comfort when I got my wisdom teeth removed at 20 and got carried inside my house by dad after coming back from the dentist all woozy on painkillers. I honestly didn't expect him to do it even in my foggy state of mind, but it was such a lovely dose of nostalgia. Honestly, just came here to put some wholesome into this comment section. Have a nice day/night, everyone. Well, you have a nice day/night too. Story 6. The parents read my diary, poetry, etc. was the exact thought that made me consciously choose to write any personal thoughts in my diary and then later poetry and fan fiction in a different language than my first language. I've been learning English since I was 6. Neither of my parents speak it, so any of my personal writing is safe because even if one of them thinks to go through a diary or through my phone, they won't understand any of it. Damn, that's pretty impressive. I just hope your parents aren't too tech savvy or they're just gonna go type that stuff into Google Translate. And if they are tech savvy and you didn't happen to think of that, sorry. Story 7. I pretend to be asleep, lol. One time when I was 6 years old, I genuinely fell asleep in history class sitting right in front of the teacher. I remember that seconds before I lost consciousness, a kid tried to wake me up, but my teacher said, "No, let her be, it's fine." I was very happy to hear that it was fine and then fell asleep right after. I had nightmares/hallucinations every night until morning, so I was always sleepy and she knew it. After a while, I woke up in my mom's arms, carrying me in my bag on the way to our home. I immediately started faking my previous genuine sleep until home, when I woke up and smiled proudly. I was faking, gotcha! It's not a great story, but it's a wholesome memory I have with my mother. Story 8. As a kid, I couldn't sleep on car rides like my siblings, but I would close my eyes and pretend since my parents would always ask if we were asleep. I thought I was supposed to be asleep and wanted to make them think I was. I assume they knew because I didn't really overhear anything too crazy, just work discussions, a little family drama, and occasionally a comment about myself. Whenever we hit a particular patch of road near the house that was extra rough, I would know we were close to home and pretend to wake up and ask where we were. Whatever conversation they were having would stop and they would bring up something else like, did I enjoy the trip or if I slept well? I tried to be inconsistent when I would wake up, but I was almost always on the same stretch of road. When we got home, my siblings usually got carried in, but I would try to help with the luggage or anything else that they needed. I like to get the mail too. But I always felt like I had been part of the grown-ups conversation. Story 9. When I was 7, every day after school, I would sneak my dad's back massager out from under his bed and lay down in my room using it on my pants for years. I wonder where my parents were. They were home, I think. I also got a TV in my room when I was 7 in 1996. And trust me, I soon discovered we all got the premium channels. My mom was an overnight nurse, so every weekend my dad would let me stay up all night. When I found Showtime and HBO, I knew I had the jackpot. Obviously, kids today use their smartphones and hide it. Pretty much every kid looks up adult entertainment on their phone, just in case your parents didn't know. If I could hide mountains of adult entertainment on my family's home computer at age 10, you can only imagine what kids hide today. And let me tell you, once you find out the true nature of children, you were one once, your eyes open. Back in the 90s, when we could hide adult entertainment on the computer without our parents knowing because their generation is composed mostly of Luddites. But kids these days, a lot of your parents know how to use computers, and there are so many things working against you. I'm sure you must have your own hurdles to overcome. Story 10. My younger female cousin is a thief. Not a kleptomaniac where she can't help it, just a straight-up thief. I don't remember how old I was, but my grandparents, me, my mother, and bro were living with them at the time since we had moved from New Zealand to London. My parents divorced, so that's where we moved. got me a funky little Lego adjacent toy set for my birthday where the parts were all round bowl things with slots where you can make dolls and animals and prop by stringing them together on their rods and sliding in parts for arms and legs and other bits for details. I also don't remember what they were called, and if someone knows, it'd be great if you could remind me. Said thief cousin basically pestered me into taking it upstairs so we could play with it. I didn't want to, but she kept trying to take the box so she could play with it, and I just gave in to get her to leave me alone. We made a small mess in my room playing with it. It was kind of fun, and then the time came for my cousin's fame to go home. Getting around to cleaning up the toys and putting them back in the box to find my cousin stole all of the parts shaped like flowers. All of them. She also stole some of my little animals from the animal rescue toy set I'd gotten in New Zealand, where it was like a mother dog and her 3 pups and some other ones like a horse with 3 little baby farm animals. She stole 1 baby from each set. And no, I never got my stuff back because she's an epping weasel who either played dumb or straight up denied doing it or just forgot she did it, and knowing that they came from a family that has no grasp on the concept of material wealth. I.e., they threw out a barely used sofa instead of selling it or offering it to a family members when they moved houses. She most likely also threw them out too, and to this day I'm still effing peed off at her stealing my stuff, and now I effing hate lending any of my stuff to anyone. But it seems karma has spun its head around and bit her hard. Since the last news I got from her is she got locked into a lease on an apartment with her F-wit ex-boyfriend and some of his friends. You've really held on to that grudge if it goes from the age of playing with Legos to an age where you're leasing apartments. No shade, I'm sure you've got your reasons. I'm just imagining as she's struggling more in life, one day you'll see her on the streets asking for change. She'll see you and be like, "Cousin, can you help me out?" And you'll just look down at her and say, "Maybe you could buy some food with those flower toys you stole from me." She'll look all confused and then say, "The ones your dog ate?" And then you'll realize how wrong you've been all this time. Help her out and you'll start a business together selling toy flowers and become best friends. See, I guess you were wrong about her. Or maybe she sucks, I don't know. Story 11. I work in a store that fits kids' shoes, and there are all sorts of lies kids tell for all sorts of reasons. Example, "No, child, those shoes are not too tight/big for you. I am trained to know if shoes are too tight/big for you. You just don't want them." Of course, sometimes they have sensory issues, but I can usually figure that out pretty quick with help from the parents. Also, you're not a good actor. No, your shoes were not hurting when you got home from school. You just wanted to get new ones. No, I will not be angry if you just say you don't like the shoes. It's okay, you can tell me. No, the measuring gauge does not hurt your foot. I handle that thing like I'd handle a newborn kitten. Story 12. When I was younger, my parents would go out to eat most Saturdays after church. While they were at dinner, my siblings and I would play on the Wii in their bedroom. When we heard the garage door open, we would always hurry back down to the main menu, eject the disc, and put it away, turn off the TV, and put the input back to the AT&T cable. I'm wondering if they knew we were playing the Wii. Don't exactly know how, but I just have a feeling. Story 13. I know strict controlling parents can be super toxic, but they motivate you to learn how to get away with things in secret, and that's been a very useful skill in life. My parents know a lot of what I did, but at one point they were slowly falling behind and only learned about half of the crap I did because I was willing to share it with them later on, once they were more chill people. Story 14. When I was 16 to 18, I told my dad that when I was little, 5 to 6, I used to wake up really early and sometimes would pretend to go to sleep before they would come to get me for the morning. I was so shocked he called my mom and was like, "Did you know about this?" They were both genuinely unaware and shocked that they somehow didn't know. What is with some of you faking sleep? I mean, it's the most innocent and frankly adorable secret to keep from your parents. It's just a little odd. I guess kids really do enjoy pulling one over on their parents, even if it is as tame and sweet as this. Story 15. When I was a kid, I thought my parents knew everything I did simply because they're my parents. I used to climb out of my window and walk in the drainage pipes, which were very unstable. I figured they knew I did that, but it wasn't until I started walking around the entire house, someone saw me and told my dad, then my parents found out. I think I was around 7 or 8. Story 16. I know my parents know I had adult toys as a late teen. They don't know that I know they know. How did I find out? My sister told me of their nope reaction when they had to throw out the toys I owned upon cleaning out my old room. It's been nearly 20 years since then, and I still want to crawl under something and die of embarrassment. Story 17. I am an uncle. My niece is around 16. She had a lot of 4 on her phone. If you don't know what that is, do not look it up. It is extremely awkward, and I found it completely by accident when she handed me her phone to put in directions. She doesn't know I know. I tried to talk to her dad, my brother, about it. I was subtly saying, I saw something strange on her phone, and he just went, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a lesbian. I made peace with it a while ago. I'll let her come out to me. I never mentioned it again, but it does make me laugh hysterically sometimes. I've been on the internet too long, so sadly, I don't need to look up for, I never want to yuck people's non-harmful yums, but that is actually like a weird nightmare fear of mine. Genuinely hate seeing people get eaten in movies. That and spiders, no thank you. But uncle, let me tell you, best you just leave it be. Your niece is at an age of discovery, and it isn't your place to out her secrets, even if they are unconventional. Story 18. They knew I had crushes on people. There were a lot. Was worse when it was my step-cousin, as they were like, yeah, we knew. He used to get so excited going to their place. He called me a weirdo when I told him. I was 12 to 13 and he was 16 to 17, so I fully understood as I'm 17 now. Oh, and teachers always know if you have a crush, god damn it. Story 19. Not a parent, but one of my brothers, D, was playing online with his friends on the PlayStation. They were trying to get my second brother, D, to play with them. But D wasn't picking up the phone or responding to the message on the PS4. But they all knew he was online, so E decided to log in as D to get his attention. Within a second, E is logged off and everyone is laughing. A few seconds later, I hear E's phone going off. He picks up saying, hello? Oh, I hears, what the F? I was watching adult entertainment. He doesn't know that I know and that I was right next to E, but I had to leave the room because I ascended with laughter. Story 20. My son isn't old enough for me to have dirt on him, but I do have a funny one. My mother told me that she always had a container of Starbucks ice cream stashed in the back of the freezer where we couldn't reach. Not that I'm a parent of a young one. I need to come up with stash ideas. First, get a bar, like me. Then in the bar you get a nice mini fridge. Decent size, not the smallest ones. Then you put a lock on the fridge and tell the kids it's because you have alcohol in there and they have to stay out. But do you have alcohol in there? I mean, maybe, I don't care. But you also have candy bars and ice cream, hidden in plain sight. Story 21. My parents always thought I smoked weed, but after 2+ years of accusations, I actually started smoking way too much, and suddenly accusations stopped. I'm scared as F. Story 22. My almost 2-year-old niece would always go to any of her grandparents, cry, and raise her arms as if we don't know she just doesn't like when we have baby gates while her mom is cooking or her dad is cleaning up. Story 23. My husband spilled our daughter likes Josh over Steve, and they watch those ones on his account. I'm gonna assume she never told me since I grew up with Steve and a fan, but we'll watch the movie together and start watching Josh's eps. Curious who will understand this. I sure as hell didn't. I had to Google, but I was able to follow the clues. What about you watching at home? Do you see a clue? Ooh, mail's here. Story 24. My therapist said that she had a feeling my mom knew I was trans. I haven't come out yet. I'm not ready to confront it, so I'm burying it deep down in my mind and trying to convince myself that I'm super sneaky and neither of them have a clue. Also, when I was 12, the mental illnesses activated, so I posted a lot of self-harm stuff on my private social media, just general thoughts of ending it. It turned out that my older cousin was following me and keeping mom up to date the whole time. I felt betrayed when I found out, about 14 I think, but looking back on it, I'm thankful my family had my back. Even if it is embarrassing, mental illness is no joke and I know that, but it still doesn't make it any less shameful for me to talk about in detail. Story 25. My parents know what I like, but they didn't know I listen to metal. They learned that Christmas in 2020. Since they know what music I like, they wonder if I'm okay. They know I'm a PC gamer also, but I know how my 2 sisters are, but they aren't too social and open. There's things my parents know of them that I don't and think it's best I don't pry. Best advice ever, even as an adult. My parents know I listened to some metal and didn't care. You know what they did care about? The translation of the lyrics to the Rammstein albums I had. That did not go over well. Book dish indeed. Story 26. This doesn't really have to do with this in any way, but I wanted to say it, so yeah. So I've been a fan of a specific game for a while. I'm not going to say the name since it has some bad rep, but at school I was bringing my sketchbook to draw some characters from it because their designs are very fun to draw. It's never anything weird, just like the characters standing next to each other and regular everyday experiences with them. The one time I drew the most drolled over character being chased by a bunch of people. Yes, they were saying stuff like, "Step on me." One time my teacher said that we could draw after we finished doing something. I forgot what it was, but she specifically said that I could draw because she knew that I like drawing the same things. And then I realized that she had been seeing me draw fan art. I thought it was all fine since it was nothing weird until I remembered the drawing. She hadn't said anything else about it, but I know she knows. And I'm scared for some reason that she will get it all wrong and think I'm the one obsessed with the character. Story 27. I don't know if my son knows that I know he faked being sick to stay home from school once in about 2nd grade. He poured water on the bran flake cereal to make a lumpy paste, then woke me up in the middle of the night to tell me he threw up and to show me the bowl. I bought the lie at the time, but figured it out the next day. He never did it again. Story 28. Mom almost likely knows I'm Omni and possibly knows that I curse at almost 13. I know she's LGBT supportive, but I don't know how she'll feel about the cursing. Speaking from experience, I think your mom will be okay with the cursing so long as it's nothing too extreme. Curse a bully with some bad luck, or curse the mean popular girl with bad hair or something, that's fine. But you start messing with killing curses or haunting people you hate with evil spirits, and your parents will throw a fit, let me tell you, and they'll make you pay for the exorcism out of your allowance. Story 29. My sister used to write me and my older brother's names on the wall to get us grounded. My parents knew she did this because I was 1 when she was writing my name and didn't know how to pronounce my name when I was 1. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.